The wedding was in 6 days. The dress was ready. The guest had RSVPed. But on a quiet Wednesday morning, she walked into the church and whispered, "Pastor, I can't marry him." And just like that, everything unraveled. Her name was Ruthline. And she had always done everything right. She prayed. She served. She waited. She kept herself pure and believed that obedience would bring her the desires of her heart. Then came David. A man who spoke the language of the church and looked like an answered prayer. He was a guest speaker at a youth summit. When he stood on stage and quoted Psalm 37 verse 4, she felt something leap inside her. "Delight yourself in the Lord," he said, "and he shall give you the desires of your heart." That night, David walked up to her and said, "You have the kind of spirit I've been praying for." From that moment on, everyone called them a match made in heaven. They courted for 11 months. Never kissed. Prayed before every meal. Posted Bible verses under every engagement photo. People said, "This is what kingdom love looks like." But Ruthline, she had questions no one knew about. At night, when David dropped her off and drove away, she would lie in bed and whisper, "Lord, if this is really you, why don't I feel settled?" But then she'd shake the feeling off. "Maybe it's just fear," she told herself. "Maybe I'm just overthinking. Everyone's happy for us. God must be too." Then came the Wednesday before the wedding. 6 days to go. Ruthline was waiting for David at church. He had forgotten his keys, so she grabbed them from his car. She opened the glove box to look for his spare ID. But instead, she found something else. An envelope. A name she didn't recognize. Inside was a handwritten letter. And a pregnancy scan. 6 weeks. And a note written in rushed handwriting. "David, I'm tired of hiding. You said after the wedding you'd tell her. I deserve more than this." The paper slipped from her fingers. Her breath caught. Her word blurred. Just then, the car door opened. David stood there. "Come." Casual. "Hey babe, what are you doing?" She looked at him with shaking hands. "What is this?" He glanced at the envelope and sighed. "I was going to tell you, after the honeymoon." "It's complicated." "Complicated," she said, voice cracking. "You were about to make me a wife, while carrying someone else's baby." David stepped back. "It's not what you think. It was a mistake. But we are already here. Don't let one thing ruin everything we've built." She stared at him. Then down at her engagement ring. "You didn't just lie to me," she said. "You used God to make it look holy." That night, Ruthline didn't sleep. She sat in the dark, phone on silent, staring at her wedding dress. The house was full of flowers and favors. But her soul was hollow. She whispered, "God, if I walk away, will I be alone forever?" And in the silence, a verse rose in her spirit. "Better a dry crust with peace than a house full of feasting with strife." Proverbs 17 verse 1. Sunday morning, rehearsal day. The bridesmaids were already at church. The pianist was practicing. The photographer had started taking shots. And Ruthline. She walked in with no makeup, no heels, no joy. Straight to the pastor's office. "I need to speak to the congregation," she said. The pastor's eyes widened. "What's going on, daughter?" She shook her head. "I can't do this. And I can't lie before God and people." In front of everyone, friends, cousins, choir members, even her old Sunday school teacher. She took the mic and said, "I know many of you came here to prepare for my wedding. But what I'm about to say may disappoint some of you. I found out something that made me realize this marriage wasn't God's plan. I wanted so badly to please everyone, that I almost disobeyed the only one that mattered. So today, I'm choosing God over embarrassment. Obedience over opinions. Peace over pressure. I'm calling off this wedding. And I'm not ashamed. Gasps. Whispers. One aunt stormed out. Her father sat down and covered his face. But in her heart, Ruthline felt peace. Weeks passed. She turned off her social media. Turned down every "I told you so." And turned back to God. She spent her evenings walking by the river with her Bible. Listening. Healing. Growing. Then one afternoon, at a small coffee shop, she met Elijah. He wasn't flashy. Wasn't trying to impress. He simply said, "You look like someone who's been through something deep, but came out with wisdom." She smiled. "You don't know the half of it." They talked for hours. Not about careers or weddings, but about faith. Mistakes. Second chances. And when she told him her story, he said, "God didn't ruin your plans. He rescued you from them." 3 years later, Ruthline stood at the altar again. But this time, in a quiet garden. No crowd. No pressure. Elijah stood beside her. Not perfect, but pure in heart. And when the pastor asked, "Do you take this man?" she smiled with tears and whispered, "Yes." This time, in peace. In truth. In God's time. Sometimes, the greatest miracle isn't getting what you prayed for, but being saved from what would have destroyed you. When God closes a door, don't kick it open. There's always a reason, even if you cry first.